Welcome to Small Practice Support Information Session number 69. In this recording, Richard Grogan provides Justin Purcell with social media tips for lawyers.
So you're all welcome to this Small Practice Information Session. I'm joined by Richard Grogan, and today we're going to discuss social media tips for lawyers. So, Richard, I suppose maybe just to start by outlining or talking about how you migrated from maybe a traditional firm into social media. Like, how is it all working for you? What should small practitioners or practitioners be thinking about in this world?
I suppose the one that most practitioners will be kind of most comfortable with is going to be LinkedIn. LinkedIn is a professional site. It has people are putting up professional articles and information, so it's a relatively easy one to get into, because colleagues will have it there for putting up their own profile. Even if it's to tell everybody about how brilliant I am, you could, and everybody can do that. So there's information there. It's a good one to start with if you're starting social media, because it gets you used to it.
And maybe, Richard, just as a starter, why social media? Why would sisters be bothered using social media, even just before we dive into the different platforms?
All right. Well, 10, 12 years ago, if you didn't have a website, you weren't at the races. About 7 years ago, 5 to 7 years ago, you needed to have content on the website. Then it moved about 3 years ago that you definitely had to have a mobile site. So it had to be mobile friendly for the mobile phone. All right. Now what has happened is the position on it is that you now need to drive people to your website. And the easiest way of driving people to your website is social media. And it's simple. People are no longer going out and putting into their Google search conveyancing solicitor mail, right? They're just not doing that. But so those traditional searches that people had are being used less and less. They're still used by the older people, but they're just not being used by the younger people. So the younger people are on social media and they're seeing the information coming up, and therefore that's where they're migrating to. And they're going from that to your website, to your content, and then if you have a contact form, which you should have on your website, they're coming to you. So that's the reason it's marketing, and it's cheap marketing.
So at the heart of this, though, Richard, for any platform is content, as opposed to search engine optimization of keywords. The keywords optimization is for the content. Is that fair to say? So you first think about the content that you can offer, and then LinkedIn is probably the most suitable or easiest way to get started. And then each platform has a different execution for or different target audience with regards to the content. Would that be a fair summary?
That would be very fair. So I mean, let me just kind of if I take my own area, which is very simple, which is employment. So my area is employment and personal injury work. So who when you're on that platform, who's going to be looking at you? Other solicitors. Well, that's fine. That's helpful. And I'm always happy to have them look at my content. That's great. Second thing would be HR people and industrial relations people and people in management in businesses. So they're looking at that content. So these are people who you need to be putting up content on social media. It's all content. If you put up a nice picture, you're going nowhere. It has to be content. You have to be giving information. So I would be, if I put it this way, if you're going to be putting up something on, say, LinkedIn about buying that you can act in conveyancing, simply putting up, we're great conveyancers, here's our website address, here's our phone number, contact us. That's a complete waste of time. What you actually have to be putting up is information about purchasing property. Now, It could be dealing with articles on easements. By the way, never use easements. Nobody understands what an easement is. But you have to be able to putting up content and content and content, and then somebody says, well, this person knows about buying property. You can automatically, when you're on LinkedIn, have it go over to Twitter, which is fine. But Twitter is a very angry platform. A lot of angry people on Twitter. So you can put it on Twitter, but don't get terribly excited about Twitter as a location. The other one that's coming up now is really going to be Instagram and TikTok. But the interesting thing is, if you look at LinkedIn, the profile in LinkedIn is, generally speaking, you're not going to have the 24 and the 25-year-olds there. The people who've finished their education, I would get some trainee solicitors will follow me, but they're not going to be 24 or 25. They're going to be that bit older. Twitter is all over the place, but Instagram, if I take, we say my Instagram account, 75% of the people are under the age of 45 years of age. Right, and the age group 30 to 40 is my age. It's over 50%. So it's a much younger audience.
And so do you change your content depending on the audience, or do you create the content first and then find an audience, or select the audience first and then create the content? So
right, you're asking me something that as if I've done a course on it. You can't. You can do courses, by the way, on this. In reality, I don't think they're much use, right? So if I would say to somebody, if you're going onto LinkedIn, LinkedIn is a professional platform. Therefore, if you're going to be putting in content, you better be right on it, right? You have to make sure that it is absolutely spot on. So if you're writing about easements, or if you're writing about rights away, right, for example, so you need to be technically right, because someone's going to tell you if you're not, which is fine. If you're doing it on Instagram, there's two ways you can do it. You can do it as a post. Remember, you're now talking about people who are a different age group, probably a different educational background, a lot of them. So you have to dumb it down very much if you're putting a post up. If you're doing rights away on a reel, you've got 30 seconds to explain easements.
What's a reel, Richard?
A reel, right? A reel is what you'd call a video. So some people they call it videos. So if I take Instagram as an example, because that's the one where you can pick up an awful lot of followers very, very quickly. Now, it can equally take time. You have to be lucky. But they have four things. One, which I find solicitors love, is a thing called Igtv. Now, Igtv is a video, but it's not limited. So you can do 5 or 10 minutes. The least popular thing on Instagram is Igtv by people who actually look at Instagram. The second one is posts, and that's you put up a picture of your office, or a picture of you're writing about buying property, a picture of a house with a for sale sign on it or sold, and it gives information, and you then write a piece about it, and that could be about 100 words. That's the third least popular. And the two really popular ones are reels, which can be 15 seconds or 30 seconds, or live. Now, going live, even I'm a bit scared of going live all the time, because if you go live, you can be attracting some of the nuts very quickly. So you mightn't want to be going in on that. The big thing on social media is being niche. So if you want to put up stuff about conveyancing, personal injuries, employment law, making wills, probate, you're not going to attract on social media an awful lot of followers. You have got to sell a niche product. So if you want to be covering everything, you're not really going to get there. you'll get followers, but you're not going to get the number of followers that you should. So if you've got a firm that has 2 or 3 people in it, well, one should concentrate on conveyancing, one we say on injuries, and we say one on probate and will making, because then the people follow the they follow on that. Now,
So in summary, is there a bit of a blend of content that you need to create? Some that's more appealing and more wider in its targeting, and then others that's more niche, so that they kind of cross fertilize each other. Is that how you're doing it, or because I know like you're everywhere at the moment, and I'm just wondering I'm trying to get to the heart of your secret sauce.
The heart of it is niche. It's niche, more niche, and even more niche. I think what some people say about the legal profession now is that as I've got older, I know more and more about less and less, and therefore trying to do the full legal Pandora of everything that you could possibly cover, that your practice does, you're not going to attract followers on that. So where do I go on it? All right, so when the pandemic started, decided because it was only going to last, remember, about 4 or 5 weeks, right? Remember that we're going to be locked down for 4 or 5 weeks. It was all going to be gone, and we'd all be back at work. So I decided I was going to do a daily employment law update. And I haven't missed one of them yet. And that includes Christmas Day. So I put up something on employment law every single day.
And what platform do you put it up on?
The employment law update goes up on LinkedIn. Now, because it's on LinkedIn, it automatically goes over to Twitter as well.
Yeah, but you don't customize it for each platform. You're just broadcasting it once, and then it itself feeds it out.
It feeds it out. The going over to Twitter that's where you get the phone call from the newspapers, because they don't read LinkedIn, but they do read Twitter. All right. So that's where
you're feeding me to my next question, Richard. But let's just stick with the social media for a second, and we'll talk about radio on PR maybe in a few seconds. But maybe the point is that each of the platforms have a different target audience, as you're saying, and Twitter is for press and radio and to get online.
Yeah. So if you go to Instagram now, I would do. I don't do that many posts. Now, if I give you, I looked at the figures this morning, right? So I put a post up the other day, and I got 10,000 views, which is not bad. But only 8% of them weren't followers. So it was only 8% of those 10,000. Now, that's not bad. That's potentially new people. But if I put up a reel, my average for the last 30 days on Instagram is just over 300,000 accounts hit. Now, that's not 300,000. That's not the same followers. That's 300,000 different accounts hit. Yeah. So when I started Instagram, I only started it in March, because it wasn't my area in the office, and I kind of worked out what it was, and it was very simple. I looked at what people do in the States, and because they market anything. Now, if you're looking at lawyers in the States, look at it. It gives you an idea. Never follow any of the stuff, because they're either God is at their right hand winning all their cases, or they're nearly at the pornographic level. America is a very diverse crowd, but they know how to market, and they market anything. I saw just a comment came up that pops up there, and could I take this out of context? Because somebody asked, what tools do you need to do this? So I'd say people are concerned, is this going to cost me an awful lot of money, right? So would you like to know what the capital outlay for me was in relation to putting in place, doing my reels, which is video that I'm taking videos on? And I'll tell you what it was. Do you know the hard copy of the law directory? Right? So that's the first thing. The second thing I have is my keypad. And the third thing I have is my mobile phone. and I put the law directory under my keypad, and I prop the mobile phone up against my computer. That's a capital outlay. So I do say to the Law Society, I will be continuing to get a hard copy of the law directory because I need it for doing my social media.
And maybe the question though is more around the software that you use in also as well as the hardware. So are you using any particular platform to schedule your posts or your?
No. That's putting a lot of more expense on you. You can do that, but you've got to you can go off and get an expensive camera. You can get software that this goes up at 9 o'clock in the morning, right? The problem on that is, what you need to be doing when you're doing this is, I take the view that when you're going home at night, the question is, what am I going to put up tomorrow on an employment law piece, right? So if you're driving home, what could I put up a piece on that? Now, there's a limited amount of words you can use on LinkedIn, so you can't write a thesis, right? On Instagram, what can I cover in 30 seconds, or better still, in 15 seconds, right? So you want to market this. What would you think, Justin, the most important thing that you put in? You'd give them your email address and your telephone number, and you tell them, that we're very competitive, right? Yeah, never, ever, 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 ever give them that information. So if you're on Instagram, for example, your profile will have you'll have your website. It will have a contact number, never a mobile, and they'll give you an email one. All right. So the minute social media thinks that you're selling them something, they'll go to the next place. So never do promotions. We're doing a special on Wills this week. That's a disaster. So
it's more like the framing of it, like tell them something they don't know about Wills, tell them a solution to their problem, tell them they have a problem, but never try and solicit them to contact you or make. Is that a fair summary?
Oh yeah, I will put up once a month, if you've got an employment law problem, if you've got a legal problem, go and talk to a solicitor. Solicitors are trained to do this. Never tell them to come to me.
Yeah.
But they're looking at my reel. Right? I mean, I saw a colleague in England about 2 days ago, and he put up a brilliant one on wills. Now, selling wills is going to be very difficult, right? And he put up two, and one of them was, very quickly he put up, do you know that if you're married or you've a partner and you've got children and you die without a will, your partner, your spouse or partner could end up with an awful lot less money because your children are going to grab it. Do you want that to happen? Have a will, you can stop that happening. Very simple, right? Didn't say how you do it, but that was it. But he put up another one, which I thought was great. And it was, do you really want your children to get their hands on your money? Or would you like to tie it up for a period of time? Well, you can do that, but you can't. Now, I can't remember what he put up, the English perpetuity period, but he put it up, but you can't go longer than that. And I thought he was giving information, but you weren't. But so everybody wants to tell everybody how to do it, but he never used the rule against perpetuities. He never referred to legal right shares. He just dealt with it as if you're talking to somebody. So, I mean, you have it. You have to do it. And why are you doing it? People say it's to drive stuff to your website, right? That's where you want them to go to contact you. But once you put it on your profile, what your website address is, what your office telephone number, what the office email is, and it's office, by the way, then they only have to look at your profile, they get it. If they want to get you, it's all there. But once you ask them to contact you, they're gone. So never ask them. because a lot of people are doing that.
So Richard, though, the question there on the feed there is like getting them to go to the website, and then this creates a whole load of leads. So there's the work in creating the content and putting it up. That seems like a lot of work. Then there's a lot of work in actually putting it out on the different platforms and making sure the messaging is correct. That's a lot of work. And then, God forbid, all these leads start coming towards you. That seems like a lot of work and how to deliver with them. So you must have a huge team of people helping you there, or like, what's the advice to the sister who says, listen, I've got enough work already, or I'm busy enough as it is. This sounds like you're creating a lot of work for me.
All right. Mine is done by me, right? Because it's Richard Grogan. Even those people who do ones under the firm name, the people are watching or looking at or following the person who's doing the stuff, right? So that's it. The stuff that, all right, you say, why would I mark? We're in employment law. There's a bit of a, employment law is busy these days. So why would I be marketing now? Market when you're busy. Market when you're not busy, and it takes a long time for the leads to come through. So you have to keep, I was always told, if I put it this way, you have to get something that keeps your marketing there, so that when you need your marketing, it's already there, that you have your followings, you have the people following you. And yeah, it does take time, but you can actually do it. It's just a time one on it. If I put it this way, if you're on LinkedIn, for example, you could be putting up blogs 2 to 3 times a week, right? That's on your website, which gets you onto Google. So Google like new content. You can put it on LinkedIn and Twitter. You're putting up 2 or 3 things a week. That at least just keeps you there, keeps you up front. If you're going to be getting onto the real social media, you really need to be putting up stuff very, very regularly. Somebody's asking me to use the chat tag. So what do I want to be looking at on the chat?
I'm asking them if they have a question for you, because we're coming to the last sort of 8 minutes or so. So Richard, do you field all the leads as well, or do you have somebody assisting you with that?
Generally speaking, if you're on the leads that come from LinkedIn tend to be, you get an email into the office, so that's fine. The same will happen from Twitter. If you're on for something like Instagram, you get what is called DMs, direct messages. Right now, you've got 2 choices on that. I actually respond to all of them myself, but I put it up a couple of times. The only answers they get is yes, no, you need a consultation. So do I have, is this correct? Yes or no, or you need a consultation, or I will put up I'll cover this in a reel, or I put up not my area, sorry. So I'm not, they will come looking for free advice, but I'm not giving them free advice. I'll give them yes, no answers. But I mean, what we did here is we kind of say, if somebody says, well, how do I arrange a consultation with you? We say, if you're coming through Instagram, we have a reduced fee of this. This is where you contact, but mention you come through Instagram. We'll get about 4 to 5 a day at the present time, of which maybe 1 to 2 convert into new clients, into a consultation, but they're having to pay for that. So you're not actually wasting your time.
So maybe then just on to, how do you get onto radio, and how do you get into the newspapers? What's your strategy for that?
Oh, right. Well, now this is the thing that every solicitor, you want to be liked by everybody. So you can't be. You have to have an opinion. If you're on the radio, the last thing that they want on the radio is answering a question that says, well, on the one hand or on the other hand. So you get onto radio, go on one side or other of the fence. It doesn't matter. They don't care which side of the fence you go. They'll take the other side of the fence. So you have to be known as somebody who would give an opinion. Once you get on, and once they work out that the person would give an opinion, all the radio stations and all the television people, they all follow each other. So they get, Justin Purcell has been on East Coast Radio, take that, in Bray. And he just took a line. right, well, we wouldn't mind having him on. So he's somebody that we can have because he won't sit on the fence. So the answer, well, on the one hand, on the other hand, I never do it. I just take a line as a good, and that's, but it is, again, they're looking for content. So the content that you put up on social media is, they say this person is taking a line on this. And it doesn't matter what the line is. They don't care. So
sorry to cut over you. Are you pushing the content to them, or are you just hoping that they see it on your feed? So are you just putting it up once at the same time every day and letting it go out into the ether because you're well known? Or just would somebody who hasn't got a following need to take a more aggressive is the wrong word, but a more proactive approach in pushing it out, or going to smaller news outlets or smaller newspapers or smaller radio stations? What's your view?
Unless you know how to do press releases, you're wasting your time. So what you have to do is, if you're going onto social media, well, the answer on it is, if you've got like Waterford local radio, take that. That's Damien Tiernan does an awful lot of stuff there. Well, you just follow him on LinkedIn, and you follow him on Twitter, and you follow him on Instagram. Don't like everything that he puts up, because he'll just, but like the odd thing. Chances are those type of people will go, who is this? At some stage, and then they'll look to see your content. So if you're going to do it at a time when you put up something of some interest, and it's their researchers as well. So if I would say to you, you might think that the most important person following me will be somebody like Claire Byrne, but for me, the most important person following me is not Claire Byrne, but her researchers, because they're the ones who say, oh, this idiot Grogan has put up another thing, and Claire Byrne goes, well, he's going to take a line on something. I can take the other line. So, so it really doesn't matter if your thing is that all employees, who turn up late should be taken out and shot, provided you're prepared to run that as a line, and that's your approach. That's fine, but you have to be niche. So the big thing is to get a niche area. What are you doing? So can I say this to you? My Instagram account on employment is solely aimed at employees, right? Solely at employees. But who's my real market? Employers. And that's where I'm getting employers coming to me, because of the fact that you're putting up stuff about the employees. They go, well, maybe we have a chat with this fellow because he's putting up all of this sort of stuff. So that's what it is. It takes a bit of time, but it's cheaper than putting an ad in the local newspaper. It's cheaper than sponsoring the under 15 football club. It's just a bit of time. And by the way, you're having the great thing is that you're actually if you're putting it up on your website, you're putting content there which will last and will actually get you clients. So if you're busy enough and you've got enough work to do, don't bother doing it. But don't try doing social media when you're a bit short of clients. Always.
That's it. So we're moving into the last sort of 2 minutes or so. So if anyone has any questions, there's a question there around, do you take money from clients, new clients who come from social, by cash, ETF, card, or online?
Yeah, we do. We don't do cash because we're not letting them into the office. So we do it by Zoom. So we just get it. We don't do card either because there's a cost issue on that. So we just get them to transfer the money to us, and we don't see them till they've transferred the money. We don't even set them up for an appointment till they've transferred the money.
So Richard, just to summarize, like what we've heard today, like I would be thinking, like I need to be posting regularly, if not daily. I need to take an opinion or have a line. I need to pick a niche area. I should be following others, yourself included. So if anyone's thinking about starting on the call, I think you should follow Richard's immediately. Look at what other people are doing on LinkedIn, on the other sites, other American lawyers, and look at the different platforms and really reduce down the message, and make it slightly have an opinion, but don't tell them the bleeding obvious.
Well, yeah, well, remember, but if I can put it this way, I wouldn't say just follow American lawyers. People who sell stuff in America, it's always worthwhile looking at the people who sell stuff, because it actually takes you a bit of while to work out they're actually selling anything. which is always good. And what I would also say to you is, they also have to find out, they have to know about you, they have to know you. Never give them too much information. But I did a reel the other day about wearing a hat. I wear a trilby. Yeah, that got 37,000 views. I wear a hat. Why do I wear a hat? Because it's easier to find me when I'm in court. Now, so they actually, so there's a little bit of actually doing that, and one of our colleagues did one the other day showing how busy he was running around the office. Now, nothing to do with law, but it just showed that he was somebody who was able to run up and down a corridor. Which sounds crazy, but that's what it's about.
Yeah. Listen, Richard, we're out of time. Thanks a million for joining us. I think we could go on and on, but I think it's a really good sort of just introductory or synopsis of what you're doing. There's no mystique to it necessarily. There's a little bit of hard work and perseverance in doing it on a daily basis, really, and coming up with sort of creative content. So it's great to see you having so much success. So next week we're talking to new Simon Trainer about new regulation responsibilities between the Law Society and the LSRA. So we hope you'll join us for that. Richard, thanks a lot for joining us again today. Slán agus gur mágad.